Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7, verse number 14. Ashesha sanklesha shamam vidatte guna anuvada shravanam murare kim va punasta charanaravindam Parag Seva Ratiratma Labdha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Simply by chanting and hearing of the transcendental name, form, etc. of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one can achieve the cessation of unlimited miserable conditions. Therefore, what to speak of those who have attained attraction for serving the flavor of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet? Purport. Two different methods for controlling the material senses are recommended in the Vedic scriptural wisdom. One of them is the process of jnana, or the path of philosophical understanding of the Supreme, Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. The other is that of direct engagement in the transcendental, loving, devotional service of the Lord. Of these two most important popular methods, the path of devotional service is recommended here as the best, because one on the path of devotional service does not have to wait for the attainment of the fruitive results of pious activities or for the results of knowledge. The two stages of executing devotional service are, first, the stage of practicing devotional service with our present senses under the regulations of the recognized scriptures. And second, attaining sincere attachment for serving the particles of the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. The first stage is called sadhana bhakti, or devotional service for the neophyte, which is rendered under the direction of a pure devotee. And the second stage is called raga bhakti, in which the mature devotee automatically takes to the various services of the Lord out of sincere attachment. The great sage Maitreya now gives a final answer to all the questions of Vidura. Devotional service to the Lord is the ultimate means to mitigate all the miserable conditions of material existence. The path of knowledge, or that of mystic gymnastics, may be adopted as a means for the purpose, but unless mixed with bhakti or devotional service, they are unable to award the desired result. By practicing sadhana bhakti, one may gradually rise to the point of raga bhakti. And by performing raga bhakti in loving transcendental service, one can even control the supreme powerful Lord. Purport ends here. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurmitam Yana Tasmai Shri Guru Nama. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshtarine. My obeisances to all of you assembled Vaishnavas. Kindly bless me that I may recite Srimad Bhagavatam in your presence. So, today we are diving into this particular verse. The verse that not only answers the essential questions of life, but also delivers the core prescription for navigating the unique challenges of practicing and preaching Krishna consciousness in the modern world and modern times. Let's see if I can share my slideshow here. working. He's working now. So we are going to explore this very important verse. Let me see if I can just set this work. Okay, it's working. Great. So let me just read the verse again. Simply by chanting and hearing of the transcendental name, form, etc., of the personality of Godhead, one can achieve the cessation of unlimited miserable conditions. Therefore, what to speak of those who have attained attraction for serving the flavor of the dust of the lotus feet? Now, this verse, it comes in the context of the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. Now, Vidura, although he is very highly qualified materially and morally, he gives up the comforts of the politics of Hastinapur and leaves to go to a pilgrimage of inquiry. Pilgrimage is to, inquire about the absolute truth. Now, in this chapter that we've been reading, topics regarding the creation, Vidura asks questions not only about cosmic creation and so on, but more deeply about the conditioned soul, the origin of suffering, and the means of deliverance. How can we be delivered? And after a series of deep philosophical answers about Maya and Prakriti and Purusha, Maitreya concludes with this verse. This is a conclusive verse, affirming the supremacy of devotional service over all the other paths, such as jnana and yoga. Now, this is not merely a theological conclusion, but a practical, doable spiritual solution. See, it's not just something philosophical. It says, simply by hearing and chanting, what happens? Cessation of unlimited misery. So we're not going to gloss over this. This is a core point. Cessation of unlimited misery. The misery we go through in life, there's no limit. There's a limit to how much enjoyment we have, but there's no limit to the miseries that we have in this world. It's not a metaphor. It's the actual fact of conditioned life. We have diseases of the body. We have restlessness of the mind. We have the existential disconnection of the soul from its source. It makes us, even if the body and mind are fine and functional, we are suffocating because we're disconnected from our source. And of course, beyond the individual suffering, which is here point 1, there's the collective disarray of the Kali Yuga society, the collective suffering and societal chaos. So Maitreya Muni, he's emphasizing here in point number 3 that the solution is not distant. It is not something very expensive. It is not something esoteric. The solution is this: Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. See, hearing, chanting Krishna's name, Hare Krishna. Beautiful. Thinking about his form, talking about his beauty, his qualities, his pastimes. The solution is not very complicated. This is the conclusion of all the philosophical discussion. And this is both a personal practice. We chant in the morning deeply, every day during the day we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And we try to keep our minds pure. We try to keep our bodies pure. We try to stay away from sinful activities. This is a personal practice, okay? But it is also a foundation for effective preaching, both. Chanting is both personal practice as well as outreach. You chant japa, you go out on the street and you chant kirtan. You see, it's a powerful practice, all in one solution. Because it's so simple, we may think, oh, how can this be the real thing? Solution? No, this is the solution. See, then Prabhupada in the purport, he explores some very important points. He gets into this jnana and bhakti. So we explored the jnana. What is jnana? Jnana is the path of philosophical inquiry leading to realization of Brahman or Paramatma. You're being reflective, you're studying the philosophy. Bhakti is a little bit different. Bhakti is the path of loving service, loving devotional service to Bhagavan, the highest aspect of absolute truth, Bhagavan. We serve directly Bhagavan. We don't serve Paramatma in Bhakti. And we don't serve Brahman. We acknowledge their existence. We get help from them in the sense that they're always there. The energy is always there. But we serve Bhagavan. Because Bhagavan actually contains all, Paramatma, Brahman, everything. He's a complete manifestation of absolute truth. Now, both paths are legitimate. You see, that's important to understand. Both Jnana and Bhakti are recognized. Prabhupada recognizes them as legitimate Vedic processes for spiritual growth. But Jnana has limitations. You see, without Bhakti element, the Jnana process can be dry and impersonal, and it fails to address the root of material miseries. Whereas Bhakti is very powerful. Why? It is inclusive and experiential. You experience, you feel it, you feel the effect immediately, effectively countering material miseries by engaging the whole being. We don't leave anything out. We engage our senses in Krishna's service. We engage our mind, our intelligence. We engage our society. We engage our inclinations to do things. And it's because it engages the whole being. And every aspect, we smell Krishna's roses, we smell the agarbatti, the incense offered to Krishna. We taste the prasadam, we hear the melodious sound of his name. So many things we do. We touch these beautiful japa beads of Tulsi Devi, So it engages us in a very nice way, absorbs us in Krishna. So it's experiential. And the process is so uplifting, we actually feel, wow, I forgot my miseries. And we do. And we manage to disconnect from miseries because we realize there's nothing to be miserable about. We get a proper perspective. And what's super powerful about this bhakti process, Krishna reciprocates. Bhakti awakens Krishna's reciprocation, making the spiritual experiences that we have, they're very profound, they're very personal. We see Krishna's hand in our lives. So bhakti is a very deep, multifaceted, multidimensional process which engages the Supreme Lord immediately, as long as you do it correctly. When I say immediately, we feel relief and joy. We feel some, upliftment, because it engages the mind, engages the heart, engages the body also, the senses. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says towards the end, Bhaktya mam abhijanati, that I am to be known only really through bhakti. So really speaking, bhakti we don't really have a choice here if you want to move forward. Bhakti is the only way. Okay, so then Prabhupada expands upon the two stages of bhakti in the purport. It's so beautiful. Prabhupada does it so casually and smoothly, but he gives the whole philosophy really in one purport. So he talks about sadhana bhakti, which is a structured practice. A structured practice, we're engaging in regulated chanting. We take initiation from a guru, and we take vows. We avoid certain sinful activities, and we take vows to chant every day, minimum rounds. Then we also study on top of that, and we try to get positive, progressive association of devotees under the guidance. See, we focus on avoidance of offenses and conscious engagement of all our senses in Krishna's service. Now, for senior devotees, what is recommended focus. When I say senior devotees, I'm talking devotees who have been practicing for many number of years, and they're still practicing, they're feeling enthused. But some things we have to keep focused, those who are senior devotees, that the sadhana integrity has to be maintained. See, the sadhana stage, we have to maintain with integrity, utmost integrity, and refinement. The sadhana should get more and more refined. The chanting needs to get more and more deep, more and more engaged. That is the definition of seniority, not just long time. Is my chanting more refined? Is my understanding more refined? Is my interaction with other devotees more refined? Integrity and refinement are the hallmarks of seniority in Krishna consciousness. As time goes by, there are dangers in seniority. What are the common dangers? Of time passing, but we're not improving our refinement. Autopilot. We just do it mindlessly because time has passed and things are okay, just do it mindlessly. Don't engage the mind, just do Hare Krishna, or just do some activities, but not really engaging the heart of appreciation. Or we get into ritualism, just hollow ritualism. It's the ritual, I have to do it. Again, it's disengaged with the heart, with the intentionality is not there. This can happen. And particularly when one is quote unquote senior, when time has gone by. So this is, I'm talking about sadhana bhakti. And then there's burnout, where we overextend ourselves without proper, what you call regulated life. Krishna says, to be a successful yogi, you have to be regulated in eating. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little. Don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little. Don't over-exercise, don't exercise too little. He says like that, recreation, eating, sleeping. He said it, this is Gita verses. If we don't balance those things out, then we can get into burnout. So this is another very big danger of spending a lot of time practicing Krishna consciousness, but without the proper guidance and balance. So what are the issues? Autopilot, mindlessness, hollow ritualism. We think we're doing it right because we're following the rituals. It's niyamagraha. And burnout. So if we have integrity and refinement and balance, then in our sadhana practice, then we can avoid these dangers. Okay, so we're talking still sadhana bhakti. So in our sadhana, we want to deepen our devotion. We don't want to calcify it into a routine. Sadhana is the plow that tills the soil of the heart. The sadhana bhakti. And the raga bhakti is the seed that eventually sprouts and bears the fruit of prema. See? So that's why it's important to have this raga bhakti that as our goal. But we cannot jump to it if our sadhana is not refined. See? Prabhupada described, he says, the mature devotee automatically takes to the various services of the Lord out of sincere attachment. This is from the purport. Now, this is not imitation. Oh yeah, I'm going to show now sincerely attached. No, it is an organic growth that when hearing Krishna's name, it invokes a deep emotion in the heart. The heart dances. And rendering service becomes our default joy, our default happiness. And the holy name becomes more nourishing than any amount of food or sleep. This is the stage of sadhana, of beyond sadhana. This is raga bhakti. We see these. Now, even advanced sadhakas can aspire toward raga. How? By hearing about the love that advanced devotees who are in raga bhakti have, by cultivating a humility, and by developing a longing. My Lord, when will I develop this spontaneity? And most notably, you see, the aspiration toward raga bhakti, it gets deeper when we recognize that raga is also not passive. It is very dynamic. And this raga bhakti, the emotional nourishment we get from that level of advanced connection with bhava, it becomes the fuel for the most powerful, fearless, and dynamic preaching. See? So that's why sadhana has to be taken very seriously to avoid these issues when we keep doing it the wrong way or we not put in the right effort. We only have one life. Let's take it seriously. Now, how does this translate in modern life? We just talked about really the philosophical, theoretical framework. How do they translate to modern life? This world of 24/7 distractions, data overload, performance anxiety, fragmented time, increasingly hostile, apathetic environments. So what we want to do in this modern world is we want to integrate Sadhu Sangha online. This is exactly what Hare Krishna Africa is doing right now. We're integrating Sadhu Sangha into our online lives. Regularly connect with those who nourish our inner raga, those who encourage our, our strength in Krishna consciousness, those who give practical guidance, those who are living examples. That's why we seek them out. That's one of the things we can do in our modern lives. Recenter the sadhana. Quality japa is much better than quantity rituals. Be present with Krishna, not just counting rounds, but absorbed in the name. See. Then when it comes time to decompress, we think that if I want to decompress or de-stress, I should do something sense gratificatory, or I should do something non-Krishna conscious, because Krishna conscious stuff is a lot heavy. Sometimes I should do something non-Krishna conscious to kind of relax a bit. No. Relax with Krishna. Decompress with Krishna. Make that, this decompression is part of modern life. We need it to deal with stress. Let kirtan or shastra or both be your relaxation instead of some distracting digital noise. There's so much beauty out there. Just hearing Prabhupada's beautiful voice in kirtan. It is so sweet. Why don't we decompress with Prabhupada? Just seeing videos of him walking around is so soothing. Seriously. Decompress with Krishna, decompress with Prabhupada, decompress with words from your guru, decompress with kirtan. Then simplify our lives. That's another thing. So we're talking about practical application in modern times, right? Simplify your life. Minimize distractions and obligations that divert you. Reduce unnecessary consumption that pull your mind away from Krishna. Simplify, simply reduce. So this is for our own internal application. Integrate Sadhu Sangha in your digital life. Recenter your sadhana, focus on quality japa, decompress with Krishna, and simplify. That layer is for ourselves. Then for outreach, for preaching, how do we present Krishna externally? Present bhakti emotionally, in the sense that, you're not going to show tears and all that. That's not what I'm saying. Emphasize the importance of connecting with the spiritual experience. Yes, we want to give the philosophical framework, that's important. But also emphasize that the emotional connect with God, with Krishna, that is relevant, that is available even on day one for complete newcomers. That's what they experience when they chant and sing. People are starving for spiritual experience. So Prabhupada gave them on day one. The ones who started dancing in the park, that's a spiritual experience. Emphasize that as part of our outreach, not just information. Yes, we were convinced because we were given books, we followed it, but what keeps us here? What got us attracted is a spiritual experience, that something moved our heart. So it's beyond information. It's not data. Preaching is not transfer of data. Preaching is presenting bhakti with the spiritual experience, the connection of bhav. Then in our preaching efforts, we can learn to use digital tools wisely. For example, You can create, if you like to create podcasts, if you like to create venues for inviting speakers like you're doing here, but you can do like, short videos, reels, bite-sized Gita reflections, social media kirtans, that we can package the timeless truth in digestible formats. So this is part of our, giving some more life to our preaching. Use the tools wisely, because the tools are also rapidly evolving, and we have to keep up with them. Then this thing called invite before instructing. In other words, first bring people into the experience of Krishna. Prasadam, kirtan, japa circle, for example. Have them experience it. Then you deepen with the philosophy. Then you can give philosophy. You don't instruct before. That's a very powerful, Tamal Krishna Maharaj is a very successful preacher in America. He would do this college preaching program where they would have, kirtan on the stage and somewhere on campus, and then students would be, and then they would distribute prasadam. Students would be sitting on the lawns, and then they'll be enjoying the prasadam. They'll be dancing the kirtan, and then as they're sitting and taking prasadam, he would walk to each group of students and just, how's it going? How do you like the music? How do you like the food? And if they say, oh, it's wonderful, I love it, then he sit down and he'll talk to them further. But if someone says, yeah, it's all right, yeah, okay, whatever, man, then he would move on, he would move ahead. Let the experience sink in, let it be a positive experience, and then you spend time with the philosophy after that. And then, of course, we have to live the message ourselves. If the way we conduct ourselves, the way we speak with each other, if it's exuding compassion and joy, if our smiles are genuine, if our motivations are pure, you see, then we're living the message. Then when people hear us, then when people even just be with us or talk to us, just hang out, they will want to be like us. So we should be like the people we should be like the person that people want to be like, you see. And so that's called living the message. That if we're practicing, we're taking that Krishna Prasadam into our souls. Then it shows, you see. The problem in the modern world, bottom line, isn't that it's anti-spiritual. No, it's not. The modern world is overstimulated, undernourished, and craving depth. And this you'll find in rich people, middle-class people, poor people, educated people, uneducated. These things are the problems. Overstimulation, undernourishment spiritually in the heart, and craving the depth. We have the product. We have to go out and share it with others. See? And then in the purport, Prabhupada says, well, actually in the verse itself, it says, what to speak of those who have attained attraction for the flavor of the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. This poetic phrase, Rasam Rucha Ragatmika Seva, it refers to the exalted Rasika devotees who live to serve Krishna with sweetness and intimacy. Very advanced devotees who are just so much in love with Krishna, just being with them saturates our hearts with love also. But even as aspiring sadhakas, we're not at ragatmika level. We can ask ourselves, am I getting closer to this flavor that it's talking about in this verse? This verse is for me. Am I getting closer to this flavor, or am I still distracted by the flavor of this world? Why? Why have I not moved away from this rotten flavor to the fragrant flavor of Lord Krishna's lotus feet? We can ask ourselves, am I longing for a deeper connection, or do I settle for outer performance? Do I settle for the externals? Do I settle for hollow ritualism and convince myself I am doing devotional service? Am I seeking intimacy with Krishna in my heart? Is my preaching a reflection of true inner understanding or merely an obligation, external duty? Is it the flow of love? Or is it something just so I can check that, yes, I'm serving? No. Those are the questions. If we keep asking, we can move gradually. We can be inching closer and closer to this raga, the bhava, the love, the spontaneity that is promised to us. So this verse, it invites us, this verse, it invites us to refocus not only on the practice, but the goal, to one day experience the rasa of Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Not merely the concept of Lord Krishna's lotus feet, but experience the rasa of the flavor. Such a beautifully worded verse by Maitreya Muni. So what we did today, we explored every word, explored every paragraph, every sentence in the purport, in the verse. We took it apart. We tried to add some context, how we could apply it in the modern world with our lives. We explored the Jnana Bhakti comparison. Then we explored the sadhana and the raga bhakti comparison, explored how one leads to the other, and how on a practical basis we can also gradually move and avoid the pitfalls of senioritis. Becoming senior, we've just spent time and not really growing deeper in Krishna consciousness. So, just to summarize, closing reflections. My dear devotees, in this one verse, we're given the practice, the goal, the method, and the vision. So what is the practice? Very easy. Practice is engaging in practice of hearing and chanting Krishna's name. It fosters spiritual growth and connection. What is the method? Sadhana, the disciplined steps. While aspiring for raga, see, you aspire, develop a longing for deep loving attachment to Krishna. So the method is that. Method is sadhana and raga both. You do sadhana while aspiring for raga and praying and crying for it. And what is the result? Freedom from unlimited miseries. We are suffering so much. You don't need to ask anybody, are you suffering? Everybody is going through stuff. Ask anybody who's invested in stock market the last few weeks. Oh, you see it on their face. You don't need to ask for the stock price. You see it on the face, the stock price. Must have crashed. The face is crashed. Everybody's suffering unlimited miseries. Whether one is a businessman, whether one is a laborer, whether one is an intellectual, whether one is a politician, whether one is a philosopher, or a poet, or a musician. Oh, everyone's going through all kinds of stuff. What is the result of this practice? We get relief. Not just relief, we get liberated from endless miseries. Last night, our dear president of the country, he said, this is a day of liberation. And he rolled out his plan of liberation. It made everybody so miserable. Nobody's liberated from anything. There's no plan. Other than Krishna, there's no liberation in this world. You want liberation from endless misery of the world. This is exact wording from the verse, okay? And then the vision. What is the vision? Is that we seek the dust of Krishna's lotus feet, representing the highest joy and service. And in this world filled with artificial flavors, temporary goals, let us anchor ourselves deeply and help anchor others in the eternal sweetness of Krishna's loving service. We embrace it. Nothing else is worth embracing. In all the 14 worlds, the holy name is the only thing worth having. This is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He prays like this. So let us conclude by praying for deep taste in bhakti, strength in our sadhana, and the vision to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, his divine mission, in a way that resonates with the modern soul. Connect. Modern ancient soul is a soul. Our job is to connect. So let us pray today, right now, my dear Lord, please give me the strength and the vision and the intelligence to follow through. Learn from this verse. Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So thank you all very much for your time today. I hope this was useful exploration of this verse. And we look forward to seeing all of you again. But if anyone has any questions or comments or reflections, we have some time right now to explore. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. This is so beautiful. Prabhuji, I have one humble request. If possible, could you share this PowerPoint with me? Oh, you are muted.
Yes, I can share with everybody. I'll copy this.
Thank you so much.
I'll put it in the chat right now. Anybody can watch it right here.
Okay, thank you so much. I would love to have it because we understand that Lord Chaitanya came to teach the process of devotional service. We may have the knowledge, but most of the time we do not know the how process to practice devotional service. But the kata you shared with us today gives us a sense of how to practice devotional service, which I find it very, very relevant and important. So thank you for sharing. Mother Gail, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mother Gail. Yes. Nice to see you. At least nice to hear you.
Yeah.
Maybe someday, if we're qualified, we'll be able to see you as well.
Yes. Yes.
I'll have to perform some years of austerity before I get that benefit.
You are 101% right about that.
Now, you know, I make my rare appearances at Tawaco.
Oh, so. It is very rare. Yes, it's more rare than the human birth, you know. Yes. That's why even one moment without seeing you is like 12 years or more, you know.
Yes.
Now, don't tempt me to make it another 12 years.
Yes.
Prabhu, when you were describing the two-step or two-level practice of sadhana, right? I think the second,
the two levels of bhakti.
Oh, okay.
Sadhana and raga. Yes.
Okay, that's what I needed to hear. Sadhana and raga. We're talking about Raganuga.
Yeah, Raganuga. Yeah.
Because in the sadhana level, the reason why I'm asking is because even at the sadhana level, we are aspiring for Raganuga Bhakti, isn't it?
Yes, that is the thing. If you're progressive, that's what it means to be progressive, is that we should always aspire. Aspiration to be at raga level if we're not there yet.
Yes, so let me see. Since we are supposed to always be aspiring for that level, I guess what I'm looking for is the distinction between the two is that while you're still at the sadhana level, you don't yet have a specific attraction to a specific relationship. Is that the distinction? Like you don't have a specific attraction to.
Yeah, I think even, yeah, I mean, the specific relationship that gets revealed much later, it's part of the raga, but even within raga, there's the progression too, right? See, it's not like so cut and dried. You can have elements of raga even while you're practicing sadhana. The elements would be, you get some sense of spontaneity. You really feel the longing for Krishna. These are beyond sadhana. These are ragatmika elements, you see. So
Okay, so because this is what I'm trying to, pinpoint the distinction between I shouldn't say mere sadhana, but between sadhana and raganuga is spontaneity actually. You're not
spontaneity,
just.
and yes, and it's the driving force is not the driver, okay, is an attraction.
Rather than just the instruction.
Yeah, exactly. The driving is not the discipline. The driver is attraction. Whereas with sadhana, it is the integrity of discipline, and that's very important for us to align ourselves. And maybe I can give the example. Maybe I don't know if it's valid. Maybe it's a valid example. Is that we're suffering from amnesia. Amnesia is a psychological disorder where we've forgotten our relatives. We don't even know our own name. We don't know our relatives. They come in front of us in the hospital room and we see them. We don't know who they are, even though they are our own children, our own father, our mother, our husband, wife. We don't know them because we've forgotten. Now, part of the therapy is to, on a daily basis, look at the photo, say their name, and remember the albums, remember the stories that you guys did together, and so on and so forth. And gradually, if you're disciplined in the therapy, you'll remember. And when you remember, then you don't need to look at then your relationship takes place in an organic, natural way. So it can be gradual. You see the gradual, because some glimpses of memories come through. But then when you're fully cured of the amnesia, then there's no need for discipline anymore. Now you're just loving. There's no discipline required when you're fully in love and you're establishing a relationship, you see.
Yeah, it's basically how should I say? You're gradually coming into Raganuga from sadhana.
Yeah,
it's gradually
the therapy, right. The therapy leads to the cure, you see. Right. But doesn't mean that once you're in raga that you don't read, that you don't do your rounds, that you don't associate with devotees, that you don't do scriptural studies. No, you still do it, but the level of taste is at a different level completely.
Yeah, the motivating factor is different.
Yeah, the joy, not just motivating, and also the depth that you get, the connectivity, it's different, But they both go hand in hand. This topic is explored very thoroughly in Nectar of Devotion.
Yes. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Shriman Varaha Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Shriman Varaha Prabhu.
Please give me a mute.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to the Assembly devotees. Thank you very much. I love listening to you, Prabhu. And unfortunately, I've been having some interruptions. But then sorry. So the few that I'm able to hear actually break my heart. You mentioned that in describing, process of bhakti and preaching. So you mentioned that preaching is not transmission of data. That preaching is sharing, giving experiences, and so that actually I can relate with that, and I want to just find out if somebody is practicing devotional service as a preacher and all what he does is giving a lot of information as preaching. I want to know, because everything has its result, everything has its consequence. So that kind of devotional service, because it's more or less like Gyan, but there is a devotee And that is his style of preaching. And all what he does is just giving information and information. And sometimes it's dry, you don't really derive some nectar from that because it's just data information. So I want to know, after many years, somebody practicing devotional service, and this is a style of preaching, what is the consequence? What do we expect to see in his lifestyle? So that maybe some of these things we observe, maybe we're making a mistake, maybe it's actually the natural consequence of when you practice devotional service that way. I would like to hear from you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. It's a good question. If someone is just doing the information download as his default way of preaching, for example, that's just the way he or she knows how to do, just giving information with minimal heart-to-heart connection, with minimal giving of spiritual experiences. Just go, talk, listen, here's the book, read it, finished. That preaching, and if you just do that year after year after year. So this is one of the dangers I'd mentioned of engaging in a hollow ritualism. Even preaching, even giving a class can be done in a hollow ritualistic manner, where you're not engaging, where you're just giving the information. Take it or leave it. You see, but when we evolve, we can get stuck on that for years, by the way, decades even. And we're convincing ourselves I'm doing devotional service. And in one sense, it is devotional service because you're repeating the words, and you may end up touching the hearts of some people. I'm not saying it won't work. It may. You're talking to 10 people every day. Out of those 10 people, maybe 4 or 5 will be like, this is awesome information. I'm going to follow up on this. And maybe then they'll I need to meet other people. This guy is a little bit boring. I have to find other devotees. But because of this person was the first point of contact, and they found something compelling in what he said, there is some efficacy there, because the words of Prabhupada are powerful. Whether you deliver it boringly or you deliver it with a lot of rasa, it doesn't matter. The words are very powerful. So you may end up introducing many people with that mechanism. But the efficacy is increased substantially if you engage with them heart to heart. You get a sense of feeling what are the pains in their life, become friends with them, give them more kirtan prasadam, connectivity, give them an experience more than just information. So the efficacy goes up a lot, you see. And then sometimes if someone is just very boring and dry and just giving the download information, you may even end up turning away some people who might be attracted initially. Oh, is this how these guys operate? I thought the guys are more fun than this. I'll try some other church, So we could end up doing that also. We turn away people because we're not really giving them the full experience. That could also happen. So both can happen. It could be positive, it could be negative. But if we do it year after year, we can remain stuck, and we may not develop that kind of spontaneity that we should be aspiring toward, that raga element. And we may also feel somewhat unfulfilled and dry ourselves, If we get good association of, connected devotees, then even if we may be boring presenters, that's okay. That connectedness will nourish us. And then maybe we'll also change and get somewhat improved. So in one sense, it's not a complete loss, but it could have consequences where we don't make progress. We may end up turning away a few people. We don't know how many. And then we ourselves may end up either burning out or feeling dry. So those are some of the consequences that you're mentioning. Perhaps you might be familiar with other more consequences. I'm sure you have seen your fair share of all varieties of such expressions or attempts. See, all attempts are commendable. People are trying, but we want to help everybody, all our preachers, to be better. Thank you, Shriman Varaha Prabhu.
Well, thank you so much. Beautiful question, awesome answer. Anyone else with something to ask or to share, please? Mother Gail?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just following up on this last point, talking about the consequences of basically giving people negative experience in Krishna consciousness. Just as my understanding is this, from previous classes, that just as there is a Gata Sukriti, right, where you give appreciation to others for Krishna consciousness, there's also a Gata Duskriti, kind of, where,
Yes, yes. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and is that not like a kind of offense that the person the perpetrator, let's say, his devotional life can also suffer from having done this thing? Because just, the person who delivers a Gata Sugrishi, he will, his life will be, his spiritual life will be enhanced by giving the Krishna conscious appreciation to others. But the flip side is that if he alienates people from Krishna consciousness, he will suffer the consequence of that also. It's not just like one-sided thing.
Yeah,
Is it not?
Sure, of course. It's a disservice.
Yeah.
There's a service and then the disservice, right?
Yes.
Disservice means, of course, it seems like a neutral word, but disservice is a damage. You're doing damage.
Yes.
You're doing damage to the soul. It's a kind of a violence in one sense, because you are destroying the tremendous potential of that soul to come out of this world by just not following. We have to be, let's just say, we have to be nice as a baseline
and sensitive.
Yeah, nice is a very simple, easy to use word in English. Be nice to people. Little kids will tell you that wasn't very nice. Little kids, 5-year-old, that wasn't very nice, was it? And so then you realize, yeah, it wasn't. You see, when you're harsh and mean to somebody. So if we know what's nice means, be sensitive, be caring, be considerate. I've said this a million times. Our flagship product in Krishna consciousness, what are we selling? What are we giving? Is love and encouragement. We want to give love and encouragement in the form of Krishna. So because, see, the
Amen.
world, the world out there is discouraging enough. We don't want people to come to our temples and feel more discouraged, more offended. They should come and feel a saturation of encouragement and love that they've never felt before. A feeling of inclusivity. Oh my God, they're treating me like their own brother or sister. Amazing. My goodness, they're feeding me for free. Amazing. And this food, I've never tasted anything like it. Yeah, I've tasted these items before in restaurants, but this is nothing like it. There's something special in here. Amazing. And they're singing, and it's so sweet and amazing, right? And then you give them their space to be themselves. You give them care, genuine concern. Can you imagine now that versus, we're just getting on everybody's case for doing something a little bit wrong, whatever. That's not how you're supposed to touch your head to the floor. You're supposed to touch it like this. What's wrong with you? Don't you see other people? So I mean, I could do the same thing, and that's the opposite of love and encouragement. But I might say, hey, I'm trying to maintain standards, in my temple. We got to have standards. If the standards go out the window, that's the end of that, The poor guy just come for the first time. Are you kidding me? You got to give him an embrace, give him a break, So we have to naturally give love and encouragement as a default. But if we fail in that, then it's a disservice. It's true. It's true.
Well, you made my hair stand up on end with that answer.
See, that's not fair, because now you have your camera turned off. I'm not seeing the hair. I have to just imagine it now.
Yeah, you have to trust me, Prabhu. It's happening. What do they call it? Roma Harshan or something like that? I don't know. Something.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, thank you so much for these answers. Probably I requested for these slides because especially the last slide you shared. It seems to me you actually chose your words very, very thoughtfully, because you were saying that we have to find a way to reach out to the world, and you use the word the modern soul. So, I mean, we know the soul is eternal, but souls in the human bodies in these modern days require some sort of different approach to give them Krishna consciousness. So if you may be willing to share with us how best we can give Krishna consciousness to this modern world, especially like you were talking about, excuse me, inclusivity, bringing people on board, making them feel they also belong to this, and we are all in this together. I find them to be very, very interesting and very appropriate. But if you may share a little bit more light as to how we can give Krishna consciousness to the world in these modern days, that would be very much appreciated. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you. So, thank you, it's a good question. A couple of things to reflect on when I say modern soul is we reflect on what is the pain, what are the pain points of the modern soul? Where are they burning out? And where are they looking for relief? You see? And when we see where are they looking for relief, then we know where to get them, right? The modern soul is 24/7 distracted, data overload. They're anxious about finances. Their time is all fragmented. They can't focus. So then some of the things I include in a slideshow that, by the way, I hope you can see the slideshow. It's a link over there. You can just click on the link and see the slides right away. That we want to present bhakti as something relevant. So we have to speak their language when I say relevant, and that's hard to do if we are not in tune with what language people speak today. When I say language, I'm not talking about English or French or anything like that. I'm talking about the words that mean things today to people, that touch them, that they'll, oh, you're talking about this. I want to listen to what you say. And then I also mentioned we want to use digital tools and all the social media. So all these things they're just tools. But the bottom line that makes any of these methods effective is a genuine sense of feeling for others. Prabhupada explained that compassion that is born out of the dint of our own experience is a meaningful compassion. You see, when we can feel the pain of others and then we act on that, that's compassion. When we can tune the strings of our heart, the heartstrings, the guitar strings of our heart, the same tightness and frequency as the person you're talking to, then it'll resonate. Resonate means when one string is plucked, the other string automatically vibrates without touching. That means you're in the same frequency, you understand there. It's called anukampa. You heard this word anukampa. It's in the Bhagavatam. Tatte anukampam sasmikshamano. Krishna gives us anukampa. Anukampa means mercy. But the literal meaning of anukampa means to vibrate or to tremble along with the other person. Means you feel their pain, so much so you tremble with them. You see. So if you have that, then these other tools, they automatically work. You see. The tools of connecting to people, because they will sense your desire to help them. And they'll never let go, because very few people want to help you in this world. Sometimes your own family members don't want to help you. What to speak of total strangers? Very few people really want to help you selflessly in this world. That's a fact. It's unfortunate even in our organization, institution. It's rare to find, but that is a fact. So if we can be that one person who wants to help you, then even these tools, the digital tools and all the social media mechanisms, the podcasts and the reels and packaging and all that, they're good. They're a good way to connect, to open the connection. But once you open that door, do they feel your feeling toward them? If they do, then that door is open, then nothing else matters at that point anymore. So that, I think those are the two things, the timelessness of compassion, and then the modern adaptability, where you have intelligence to use the right tool to open the doors. If you combine those two, then you can be a very effective preacher, outreach. Yeah. Hare Krishna. I hope that helps, Sadhya Prabhu.
Very much. Yes. Thank you so much.
Madhuvan Prabhu.
Yes.
Raise your hand. Madhuvan Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Oh, grace unto all of you.
Oh, Gaisha
Thank you
Prabhu.
very much for your what you gave us today. It's very technical and scientific also. Thank you. So you mentioned that the bhakti engages the mind, body, and soul. All right. Then you also mentioned chanting, quickening the spirit. So last weekend, we went out into a marketplace for Harinam. So I think our number is quite sizable because we have a bigger bus this time around, given to us by Kavichandra Prabhu and Maharaj. So this was the coastal bus. So we could take more people. So I think, so when getting to the marketplace, because of our number, the chanting was, in fact, very fantastic.
Madhavan Prabhu, please, if you could hear me, you probably may have to turn off your camera.
Chanting, we went into ecstasy. So incidentally, people are just finished fasting, and the situation in the country also is not very conducive, much in a very downward mood. But by the time we are singing and dancing heavy kirtan, it's like our frequency, we could resonate with other people. So people saw it as an opportunity for them to be happy. So everybody joined us in the marketplace. Everybody joined us, and they also went frenzy with us. Even some people started more ecstatic than we do. So the thing was actually infectious. So that was the experience. So when you mentioned it, that chanting, kirtan, so I actually believe that the process is going to help in this age because people are down, they are not happy. And this is a very easy way to elevate their consciousness or to make them happy. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for sharing. Where was this? Which town are you in, Prabhu? You said you went to the marketplace. In which city was that?
Madhavan, you're muted.
I think he's trying to type it or something.
Well, he is in Ibadan, Nigeria.
Ibadan in Nigeria. Okay, okay. Nice. Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. So it's a little bit past time. I do need to get going, but thank you so much. I'm so happy to see everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. We cannot thank you enough.
My obeisances to all of you, special obeisances to Mother Mitravinda. So nice to see you here, and Mother Gail. Hare Krishna.